Hey everyone, welcome back to One Strange Adventure. Welcome to the next video. Today we're going to be installing these on the truck. We're going to do a little bit of an upgrade. So we actually have the stock bumpers on right now. We're going to replace them with these Timbrens. Thank you so much, Timbren, for sending this to us. This helps by upgrading your suspension, especially when you're towing heavy. So let's get this installation started. It's supposed to take about 30 minutes or so. Probably going to take me longer like it usually does, but we'll get them on there. All right, well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to unbox it just to see what comes in the kit itself. Bubble wrap, we love bubble wrap. Always get to play with bubble wrap. You got the bumpers, and then you got the spacers that go in there, and then you have the hardware that goes with it. So a pretty easy, not a lot of components, it looks like a pretty easy installation. So hopefully this goes pretty smooth. Actually says to first start assembling the these to the actual spacers. So we're going to do that. And there's like a spacer that's in here, and this bolt's going to go down through here, and then screw into this plate. But in order to do that, I need to find an extension. Look at this thing. I don't know that I'll need that today, but it's a bigger boy. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in there, feed it through. So the problem is going to be that there's this spacer inside of it as well. So you got to get that through. And then we're going to just feed it onto this, or screw it onto that. Well, actually it wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be. Let's do the next one here. It's always got to be one easy one and one hard one. There we go. See, just like that. You're definitely going to need an extension though. Feels like it's got some like Loctite down in the threads already. That one's tightened down. There we go. And for a Ford, it gives you these little shims. And so what they do is they will go like this between the frame and that, because the frame kind of, I think it kind of bows up like that a little bit. So that gives you these to just take up some of that gap. All right, time to get under the truck. This side is the pain because it has a lot of stuff going on. The other side is pretty open over there by the exhaust. So, but yeah, I'm trying to get this yellow bumper stop right there off, and that's where this new one is going to go. Thankfully with this kit, you don't have to replace the bolts or anything. So the bolts that are there are the ones you're going to use, and it should just bolt right up. There we go. Absolute pain in the butt. Sorry, I know that's not the best view, but it's the only one I could get. Woohoo! Now, getting these things up in there. I'm actually gonna have to jack the truck up some. So they're gonna sit where they almost touch at stock level. Right there like that. So that means I gotta jack this thing up some. So the suspension hangs more and I can get some more room in there. All right, let's see. Yep, perfect. All right. Got this spacer that it says to put in there. Here we go. One down. This is the passenger side. You can see there's a lot more space on both sides. Be able to get this one out, so hopefully it's a little easier. That driver's side one's got a lot going on over there. You got the fuel tank, you got transmission lines, you got brake lines. That's a lot going on over on that side, so hopefully this side's a little bit easier. We're going to see if we can't get this other side first. Perfect. Oh yeah. I love this impact. All right. Boom. That's what it looks like right there, folks. All installed. Now I'm going to let the jack down and show you what the clearance is with it in there. So they should be just over this little plate right here. Now when we put a load on it, see, the cool thing about these is that they don't change the ride. They don't change the ride when you're unloaded. That's what I like about it. That's what's so appealing about these. But when you're loaded, those things are going to come down and absorb some of that impact as you're going over bridges and stuff. So next part of this video will be us leaving and actually heading down to the Florida Keys. And we're going to give you an idea of what it feels like, if it's any different. That's a big difference right there. All right, well that does it for today. Like I said, the next thing is going to be actually loading this RV on there and seeing what they do. They should come in contact with that little shelf that's under there, and hopefully absorb some of the shock, because there's been times we go over bridges, even with the Gen Y, this thing's just so nose heavy, it just needs a little help.